Hello, hello, hello. Just waiting for the game to pop up. There. Oh, I forgot. There, now you can see the game. I had it hidden. My bad. Time to continue the game. It is currently glow. What was I doing? I think I went around and talked to everyone already. But I could. Okay. Is this the correct save file? Let me just make sure. It shouldn't be glow. It should be dust, actually. It's the wrong save file. This one. What? What? Weird. Okay. I hope nothing was messed up. But I really need to get rid of that. I do still have my little friends right here, my little pets. Did I go around talking with everyone already? It does seem like it. Okay. What was I doing? It's, the file is save sim now. New boss event spawn. Oh. Maybe I should shovel some dirt. Work on the farm gives me +2 toughness. +3 toughness. I'm not sure. +2 combat. I don't know. I definitely need something so that when I, because I don't want Sim to die. There's that. This will just increase my bravery. Okay, I'll just survey the ridge again. A radiation warning. These flowers seem to be highly radioactive. Far too radioactive for the mild shielding your suit provides. Luckily, you analyzed these radioactive plants and know how to pass through safely. Neutralize the radiation. Good thing you studied this plant earlier and know its wily ways. You tickle it just so, and the radioactive flowers close. You push your way through to the other side, unharmed. Every so often, you see absolutely massive creatures here. I'm gonna climb up onto its back. Pass through the Dorps moths. You wade into the cluster of Dorps moths, swinging your arms and feet wildly. They erupt in a cloud of dust, soft wings beating against your face as they flutter away in agitation. You sneeze, but that's all that happens. You climb down the other side and continue on your way. Wow, that did nothing. Nothing new was happening. I think I just wasted this opportunity. Find the source. You take careful readings from a distance, triangulate them, and discover the source of the wind. A red sports ball-sized crystal emanator hidden in a small crevice. When you smash it, it doesn't shatter like crystal. It almost looks as if it could have been organic. Was this some kind of defensive barrier? Yet another weird mystery of these ridges. I learned nothing. Oh! I got another one of these. Damn, this one does nothing again. I might restart. I think I'm gonna restart. Let's reload. Right here. I need to do something else. Survey the ridge again, and then I'll just run past all those things. Because they aren't new events. I'm getting no memories from them. There's Sim. Really nothing else. Feels like I've already explored this entire area. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, but first, let me get this. Just got another one of those. Okay. It's just 22. That's not a good start. Really not good. Okay. I need combat. I need higher combat. What is it? It's 8. That's not good. Pretty low. 8. What if I apply to be a hunter? Utopia sighs when you tell her you're looking for Rhett. Well, I can't stop you, sweets. Rhett's over in the garrison, though. I don't like him coming around here trying to poach my people. You head over to the garrison. Oh, it's you again, Rhett says. Going to try out for the hunting party again, are you? Vase looks up from where he's cleaning a class rifle and scowls at it. Sure, I'd love to hunt. Rhett nods. Good. I'm glad to hear that, he says, and turns to Vase. But first, I need to make sure you know the basics. Vase, bring out the bricky. Vase goes over to a tent and brings back the grippy on a long chain. It's sprightly and bright-eyed. Some might even say cute, and comes up nearly to your waist. Vase looks proud of his duty as monster bearer. I caught this one myself, Rhett tells you. I'm adding it to the training zoo, so don't kill it, but feel free to give it a few pokes. Then tell me, what are its weaknesses? Its strengths? How would you defeat it in a fight? Okay, I have Animals 30. Anna likes the beast. No, okay. Next round. How about this one? And that's 0. You studied the creature for a long time. It looks nervous, skittering from side to side and making a clicking noise. You throw a stick at it and it leaps up and grabs it in its mandibles. It angrily tears it in half, then glares at you. You do some more tests and think about other times you've seen a Vraki in the wild. It's one of the many creatures on Vertumna that seem to be more fungus than animal. You've seen them in all sorts of sizes, from little scuttlers the size of your palm, to jumping predators to towering niche trees that are rooted in one spot. This one's awfully large, so it's probably agitated that it's been taken out of the wilderness at this point in its life cycle. It probably wants to root soon. Good, Rhett says. Let's see if you are as good at hunting them as you are at identifying them. Come join the hunting squad next month and we'll see how you do in the swamps. Unlocked Hunt in the Swamps and Expedition. Random thought. I love the trope of alternative version of character because how baffled character can get about what happened with another version of themselves. Ooh, this version of me has cool powers. Yeah, but getting possessed by a ghost wasn't worth it. The what now? I love that too. That's a great trope. Okay. +3 animals if you hunt them. That's interesting. Also, hello Flower Heart. Haven't seen it in a while. Thank you for stopping by. Okay. This is a new area. You looked under the drone rifle in your hands. This is the big leagues. Finally, you're going to get out there and take the fight to the enemy. Oh, whoops. No messing around out there, Security Chief Rhett says. These animals are dangerous. They want to kill you probably as much as you want to kill them. Your job is to get to them first. Whoops. Utopia sighs. And by no messing around, he means don't you go taking risks, she says. As head of expeditions, she's technically in charge of you in the field, though Rhett is the one who molded you for this. There'll always be animals out there, but you're a lot harder to replace. If you take down anything edible, she adds, tag it for reclamation so we can bring it back to the colony. Vase is practically humming with excitement beside you. Red pairs you up to head out together, and Vape sighs. I don't need a buddy, he grumbles. No offense, Scoober, but you'll only hold me back. He's so cool. Red shakes his head. You two are a good match, he insists. I want you to watch each other's backs out there. Stay within transceiver range of each other at all times. You might not always be able to reach the colony or utopia, but you'll have each other. Never engage the enemy alone. We'll make a great team, right, Vase? Red smiles and claps you both on the shoulder. Good. Teamwork is a key word here. Teamwork. You get a high-five Vase and he's staring at you like you're a hover snake. Eventually his shoulders drop and he raises his hands. You finish the high-five. Red takes off in his glider and Vase turns to you. You better keep up with me, he sneers. We might be stuck together, but that doesn't mean I need your help. I'm gonna get all the kills and all the kudos, so just let me do all the work and stay out of my way. The subaqueous swamps are especially dangerous, Utopia says. Something in the air makes the beasties appear all kinds of fickle. Could be the storms, but normally docile creatures are much more aggressive. She bites her lip. And to be perfectly honest with you, there's some darn scary things out there in the swamps. I don't much love that we're sending kids out in a literal war zone, Utopia says. I've been to the swamps for all this war business, and it's a beautiful place, even if it is real spooky. Hurts my heart to see soldiers tromping all over it. She summons up a smile. But I know teenagers can be just as capable as adults when it comes to surveying and hunting, she says. You've got faster reflexes and stronger stamina than a lot of these old codgers. Just try not to take stupid risks out there, okay? Promise your honorary auntie. Vase scoffs. You're not my aunt, he mutters, and I don't need a coward telling me what I'm capable of. Oh, fuck off! And here we are, the subaqueous swamp. Let's grab that. I'm gonna go around. It's a manicore! Those things are dangerous. They keep killing Sim! Okay, one of those again. Let's get to the end of this area. See what's there. One of those cool things. You think Sim's gonna be here? Maybe he is. Damn, there's so much stuff here. So many things to pick up. Okay, we got to the end, I think. Let me save. It's getting late, and you and Vase should be heading home soon. Then you spot it. There, on a plateau half a click away, glittering in a beam of blue evening sunlight. A Unisaur! You pull out your holoculars. This one has particularly beautiful coloring, a pale bluish white. The last rays of sunlight shimmer through its rainbow mane as it paws the ground and sniffs the air. You're drawn to its terrible beauty. The question is, when did it last eat? Try to get closer. 3+ bonus traits. Or better. Interesting. This is same. And now this one. Whoops, nope. Oh, I don't have enough. +2 to a card. Still trying. Okay, that's 80 stress now. 70 stress. No. Actually, if I change this one yellow, nothing really happened. This one yellow. Okay. Got it. Vase watches you, expecting something bad to happen. You approach very, very slowly, pausing for a few minutes at a time for it to get used to your scent. It takes you almost an hour to work your way up to the plateau, but when you do, the Unisaur bows, seeming to accept you. What do? Film it? Capture it. This beautiful wild beast is far from tame, and you wonder if this is the right thing to do. But you know if it was Vase's choice, you would just kill it, and surely this is more merciful. You have a moment where you look it in the eye and see intelligence. Murderous intelligence. But it actually follows you down the slope without any trouble at all. You get the sense that it's chosen you. Or, at least, it's curious enough about you to want to learn more about you. You radio your dad to let him know you're bringing home a new Unisaur. A Unisaur? He chuckles. Whoops. No idea what we're going to do with one of those, but we'll figure it out. Sure looks like it trusts you, he continues. Make sure you come by geoponics to keep that bond up. We could use a hand with the other animals, too. You're too worn out and tired to continue. Ain't that something? Do I have it with me? Can I equip it? Let me see. No, this? Here. Oh, wait! Well, shit. I completely forgot about that. Nah, oh, I need the combat. Hey, Rex. You spot Rex carrying supplies and big pieces of wood into a huge tarped-up section at the end of the lounge. He waves at you. Well, as much as a wave as he can do with his arms full of mushwood. Hey, Hayla? Hayla, Goober, he calls out to you. Have you come to see the bar? You give him a questioning look. The bar? You don't know Rex super well? You've never heard anything about a bar. He gestures to the tarps. My bar, he says. I've been working on a special project ever since I joined the construction crew. The colony needed a place to cut loose, you dig? He looks up at it, beaming with pride. I think it's about halfway done. You take a look at what you can see. Rex has kept it all pretty well tarped up and hates letting people inside to peek, but you can tell it's big. Perhaps a little too big. Ambitious, maybe, for a first solo construction project. But Rex has had a lot of help from his crew, and from the whole colony. He'd have to be able to find enough wood. I'm sure it'll be great. Hello, Space Jace!
The Space Jace just traded with 1 viewers.
How you doing? Thank you for stopping by and thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. I'm currently playing I was a Teenage Exocolonist. We are currently very close to adulthood. And right now we're talking to Rex. Hey, doing alright. That's great. He's telling us that he's building something, a bar, for everyone to come to so they can chill out. Rex comes over to you and slings you into a one-armed hug. Just seeing you makes me super energized, he says. I can almost see the music now. That's right, the bar's gonna have live music. You know anyone who plays an instrument? I'm gonna work double time to finish this place. If you want to help, bring me all the mushwood you can find. Oh, okay. I used all my mushwood, I think. Mars is tapping away at a large hollow screen displaying schematics of the colony. An art gallery here, she muses, dragging some template buildings around. Next to a gourmet restaurant here. A walk down the promenade past the boutiques, ending at the live theater. She places her finger to her chin. What do you think, Goober? It's all a fantasy right now, but you know me. I'm highly goal-oriented. Looks like they're all trying to do some big stuff. Hal is doing some hardcore inverted yoga pose, balanced on his hands with his legs folded up and his knees tucked on top of his elbows. His breathing is long and steady. Check it out, he says, slowly extending one leg out so it sticks straight up into the air behind him. This one's called crow pose, but I think it's kind of more like a float cow. Get it? Because it's kind of like I'm floating? Float crow? That's cool, buddy. Oh, I can help it with the animals. Hold up. Your dad is running some kind of test on the trippets. He's playing different chords and trying to see if they have language or are just making instinctive animal calls. You help him by holding up random objects and trying to determine if their sounds map to any understanding of what they're seeing. They're either saying kill our humans or linguini sports ball, your dad says, staring at the radar on his hollow palm. I just can't be sure. That's goofy. Love you, Dad. Hey, anyone else want to talk? Vase? Got nothing to say, huh? Tangent. Know me. Now I gotta go see this. See what he's up to. Nothing? I got another strange device. You want it? I keep finding him. He never finds them. I'm the one with the eagle eye in this relationship. Okay, I'm gonna relax on the walls. This is also relaxing on the wall. He greets you with a question. Hey, Goober. If you could push a button and it would kill everyone on Earth, but the colony would survive forever, would you do it? What if it was the opposite and you could push a button and we'd all die, but it would fix all the problems for everyone on Earth? You barely know how to answer. The question plagues you for a whole month. Thank you, Dis. You gave Goober an existential crisis for an entire month. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of this, too. We're gonna go back to... Oh! It's Dis again! This evening, when Dis isn't in his quarters or his usual spot near the expedition vehicles, you have a sixth sense of where to find him. His old secret hideout in the big drainage pipe under the wall, where he still goes sometimes when he needs to escape and be alone. Sure enough, there he is at the entrance of the pipe. Something's wrong. He's fiddling with a package, furtively. His head jerks up as you approach, and he clutches it to his chest. You can barely believe your eyes, but you know a bomb when you see one. What are you doing? This stares at you for a few moments, weighing the truth. I'm leaving, he says, eventually. Noctilucent made me a deal. Sabotage the colony during the next attack, and they'll let me become a gardener. Don't get in my way, Goober, Dis says. I don't want to have to hurt you. Wow! You can set it off. Oh, wait. Now that is a choice. That's a choice if I've ever seen one. Set off the bomb. I'm doing that first, okay? Dis opens his mouth like he was ready to argue, then catches up with what you said. Wait, what? He sputters. Right now? For serious? Okay, wow. He stares off into the distance for a moment. Okay, he repeats. Wow. We should set it in the living quarters. Holy shit! This is jaw drops. What? Goober, we don't have to do that. Blowing the wall's enough. They're dead either way, this is quicker. That makes sense, he says, considering the bomb in his hands. The gardeners are going to destroy the colony anyway. Your way is actually more merciful when you think about it. He sets his jaw. Okay, just give me a minute to set it. I'll meet you outside the colony. You and Dis both go to the living quarters, him to set the bomb and you to pack your bag. You didn't expect to be running away from the colony forever when you woke up today, but you had a feeling it would always come to this. You meet up with Dis at the tree line. He grabs you and kisses you desperately, biting into your mouth and crushing your body against his. It's all you can do to respond in kind. He breaks with a gasp. Ready? He asks. Yeah, screw them! You turn and watch as this activates the detonator. There's a short lag, and then you see the explosion. A half-second later, the shockwave and the sound roar past you, enveloping you in heat. The mist of West season evaporates immediately, replaced with the smell of ozone and burning. This holds you tightly as you watch the skeleton of the stratospheric finally crumble in on itself. There's only so much the fire suppression system can do. You watch as flames engulf the rest of the colony, the cries of the people inside swallowed up by the chaos of fire. When you've looked your fill, Dis takes her hand and wordlessly leads you into the forest. The end. We got our first ending! You never returned. Ran away. You believe the colony was destroyed. Sorry about that, it's a train. You believe the colony was destroyed after that night, but you never come back to find out. As horrible as the act was, you tell yourself you were only speeding up the inevitable. Humans were not meant to be on this planet, and sooner or later, the planet was going to fix that. You and Dis are together, and you're free. That's what matters. As promised, the gardeners have a procedure to absorb you, which you and Dis undergo together. It isn't what you were expecting. You don't really get to stay you. Instead, it's the beginning of a new life as guardians of the planet itself. Over time, you forget you were ever even human. In the moment of your death, as your brain cells fizzle out one by one and shut down forever, a vision swims in your mind's eye. That person? They seem so familiar. You feel like you know them so well. Oh, it's you. Only ancients. Their arms are covered with so many data bands. So many lifetimes of knowledge. The ancient you speaks without moving their mouth. Not in words, but in something like pictures. Still, you understand. A traitor to humankind, they crow. I knew we had it in us, but I never thought I'd see the day. I lived my best life. There was a girl. We were young together. Tammy with the cotton candy hair. It's a shame to see a life snuffed out so young. They give you a look, as if to say you were somehow responsible for this. Wait, were you? Could you have saved her? We have a chance to take another path, to change the way our life turned out. They reach out a hand. Come with me. Go with them. Wait, is this a New Game Plus? It is a New Game Plus! Well, I got one ending. Hit. Oh, this is right there! Oh, how cute. I'm gonna reload. I want to see what happens if you do the other thing. Empathy challenge. Oh, it's hard. This isn't good. Oh, it's 10. Okay, this is better. This is the final round? Oh my god. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's, red. And... if I do this, what would happen? +2. I'm gonna continue adding. Oh, I can't. I don't have any more. Shit. Well, that sucks. I probably can't do it. I'm gonna get the same hand. Okay, this is an empathy challenge, so maybe I should set this. Can't change gear during an event. Shit. There. Okay, let's try it again. Gear. Okay, I'm gonna do that. This seems okay. Let's see if it works. No, this is better. That's not very good. I feel like this is worse than it was before. I only have a 4. First, let's change these to yellows. And I only have 1 log, I think. And 2 logs. Yep. That's not enough. Reload again. So I want to see if I can get this ending. Okay, gonna try again. Empathy challenge. Change to yellow. Make 1. Oh! Push through! We did it! Okay, another ending. Sis clutches the explosives to his chest tightly and lets out one shuddering sigh. Okay, he says finally. Okay, I just... He shakes his head and hands it over to you. Take it, he says, before I change my mind. You dispose of the deadly package and thank all the gods from all the religions you can name that you were here tonight to stop this. Here, have this. Fill out, okay? We're continuing on. Relax on the walls. You use the relative isolation of your hiding place on top of the walls to peruse some of the recently unlocked adult entertainment on your hollow palm. What? It's not like you're doing anything. It's just pretty interesting stuff is all. Great articles, that Playboy. Anyone want to talk? Does anyone want to talk, huh? Oh, this thing. Let's grab it. Let's go. Did not set off bomb. Okay, let's go survey the ridge, huh? Let's see. We can save sim. Now that I'm here? Hey, Sim. You okay? Oh, hey. Cool. That's pretty nice. +2 to cards with gems. Actually, damn. Again? Eesh. I'm gonna change them to yellows. Tim! We've saved him! Somehow, using all of your strength and then more, you defeat the lead Manticore. The two smaller ones scatter, hissing their displeasure and biting at each other. With the death of their alpha, negotiating their new pack dynamics should distract them for a while. Are you okay? Tim waves you off with the arm that doesn't hang limp at his side. I am fine, he gasps. I feel pain, but it does not control my behavior as much as it seems to in humans. Tim is barely standing upright after that battle. Hit him? Tim, you're like 1,000 years old. Truly, he wasn't much help this time, and it seems as though, despite your best efforts, his strength is fading fast. He stumbles into you, knocking you both to the ground. He lands on top of you. Your legs intertwined as the wave pressing you into the dirt. Oof! He gasps. You can feel every inch of his long body against yours. I'm not really into this. He's too old. He's like 3,000, 5,000, a billion years old? Nah. You unceremoniously shove Sim off you, and he laughs as he rolls into his back. No, Sim asks, unbothered. My apologies. My research of human relationships via your holographic videos gave me the impression that is what your kind does after a near-death experience. It's quite exhilarating. Ah, okay. You're both startled by a crashing sound from the trees. One of the two remaining manticores breaks through the tree line and roars at you, blood and spittle spraying from its ravenous jaws. There is no sign of the other, clearly lesser manticore. Run! Sim gasps, pulling you both to your feet. He gives you a push and you start running parallel to the cliff, trying to get some distance before it's safe to duck back into the trees. You don't hear Sim behind you. You roll around just in time to see Sim clash with the manticore, grappling with its huge front claws as it pushes him closer to the edge of the cliff with dancer-like strength. Go! Sim yells. Rocks scatter down the cliff by his feet. Please, Goober, just go! You don't even have a chance to be a hero. The manticore takes Sim's neck in its jaws and he screams in pain. He dies anyway? That's some bullshit. That's bullshit. How dare you? Sim locks eyes with you once more as time slows to a crawl, then speeds up as he grabs hold of the manticore and launches himself backwards off the cliff. They're gone before you can scream. You rush to the edge, too late to catch even his trailing, tattered coat. It's a long way down and the wind buffets your face viciously. You try to blink away the image of their bodies falling through the air, now seared into your memory. You turn away from the smudges at the bottom of the cliff, but you still see it. You sit down, stunned, and stay that way for a long time. How can he be gone just like that? Dead. There won't be any funeral for him, the alien who would be human. It's not like you can bring his remains home to be properly recycled. It's a small comfort that at least out here, it won't be long until nature takes its course. Sim would probably have wanted that, you think. With a heavy heart, you return to the transport station. You want to go home. What? It cancel itself out because morning. Okay. Dude. Miss what? This doesn't believe when you tell him. But I just saw him. You're lying! He can't be dead! He refuses to listen and just keep repeating that you must be wrong. Rip. Rip Sim! He was a real one. I tried to save his life and he fucking died again anyway. Damn, how disappointing. I worked so hard to get that and it was for nothing. He's still dead. Fuck. Let's go study some xenobotany. Hey Dad. My friend died. Tend the animals? Or research? I'm gonna research. That's pretty cool. But okay, I can push through here. Collectibles respawn faster and more slots are filled. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna have to relax on the walls. Did I already get a crystal cluster? Doesn't look like there are any here. I don't like that one. You're heading to bed when the sirens begin to wail, heralding the beginning of the yearly xenofauna attack. Outside your window, you see the soldiers begin to form up. This year, Anemone is heading up her own squad. You see her red hair bobbing along with the others as she rushes to defend the walls. Rush out after her! Anemone looks at you in surprise, but nods when she sees her ready to fight. Someone hands you a plasma rifle, and you join her squad on the walls. You stand shoulder to shoulder with Anemone and watch the Xenos mass on the far side of the fire break. Look at them all, she says darkly. They just keep coming, more and more every year. What are they even waiting for? Why don't they just attack already? She shoots a look at the rest of her squad. All of Helios, mostly young adults like you, and lowers her voice. I just want to get it over with, you know? She confides in you. These Helios learned to march before they could walk. I want to prove I can handle myself as well as they can. She runs her fingers on the barrel of her plasma rifle, where she stenciled the name Kombucha. A low wing from the forest draws your attention back to the enemy line. The wall of animals is approaching in eerie unison, their footsteps drumming a rumbling tattoo across the ground. Anemone clutches her rifle tightly. Okay, here goes. The animals approach the wall at a steady pace, but stop short of the walls. Instead, they mill around outside the colony near the garrison. In the eerie silence, you hear the sudden crackle of plasma rifle fire, and a flying creature falls to the ground. You hear Security Chief Red from his post on the walls, telling his squad to hold their fire. His voice rings through the still, expectant air. The Xenos are just standing there, so quiet. The animals appear to be waiting for something. The uncomfortable impasse stretches into minutes, until finally, Anemone tilts her head just like she's hearing orders through her hearspeak. Okay, we're just gonna attack them, she says, her voice lilting up almost as if it's a question. Her Helio-born squad mates look at her with unsure expressions, but Anemone nods. Yeah, to the walls! Open fire! Fight! Cards with gems are wild? Okay. +3 on third stage of challenges. Okay, we got 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, well, 10. It's the same anyway. Well, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Let's push through. You and the others opened fire, joined by other squads at other points on the walls. The creatures continue to mill around as they're cut down by a hail of crackling plasma rifle fire, seemingly unbothered. It's not until a few minutes pass that the creatures seem to wake up, in a sense, breaking from their holding pattern and beginning to batter the walls as usual. Flying creatures begin to soar overhead, landing in the courtyard and attacking from within. You stay on the walls and pick off what you can, trying to keep the creatures from forming a living pyramid to scale the walls. You can hear the battering of their bodies against the gates from here, and the commotion as the gate defenders rally to keep it shut. Governor Loon comes charging up to Anemone. I need command of your squad, he says. I'm taking them down to the courtyard to engage the enemy directly. My squad? Anemone stammers. She looks conflicted. Loom is the governor, and outranks her as a soldier. But he's Loom. His plan is bound to be dangerous, or even suicidal. The rest of the squad are Helio-born, yes, but they're also just teenagers like you. Don't you need us up here, supporting to defend us from the walls? She chances to suggest. Let's ask the security chief. Anemone looks relieved. Yeah, let me just check with Ray, okay? He might need us. Let me just check. Loom nods her forward, and Anemone steps away to confer with Red over hearspeak. When she returns, she looks unsure. He says you can't order a bunch of kids into the worst part of Thornton just because you think it'll look cool, she repeats. He wants us to stay on the walls. Loom throws his hands in the air in disgust. You Stratus are even more cowardly than I thought. This spurs your Helio squad mates into action. They abandon Anemone and follow the governor down into the courtyard below. You and Anemone remain on the wall, defending them against being breached by Xenos and picking off the flying ones before they can land in the courtyard. The gates stay standing, and after about an hour, the attack ends as quietly as it began, with the remaining Xenos slinking back into the forest from whence they came. In the quiet following the battle, the colony comes out of hiding to gather in the courtyard, surveying the damage. Everyone looks weary, but you survived another year, and with remarkably few casualties. As the gates are secured and people begin to pick through the massive xenobodies, you spot Diz watching from up on the walls. As he meets your eyes from a distance, you wonder how tonight's battle might have gone if you hadn't stopped him from planting that bomb. And now we're age 19. Plus 35 bravery, plus 12 animals, plus 12 combat. We're almost reached the end of our time. This is I'm sorry, it took me out. I read ahead and I was like, what the fuck? He was just about to blow up the colony. What? It's only been a month. So why is he talking like this? This is stripping off his expedition gear when he sees you and smiles. Hello, beautiful, he murmurs as you lean in and give him a kiss. I love coming home to you. You make being here worth it. I'm sorry, I could not say that with a straight face. That's so goofy, I love that. You're having fucking artifact, dude. I needed that. You spot Cal almost asleep on his feet, propped up on his rake. As you approach, he snaps to attention. Oh, hey, Goober, he says, rubbing his eyes with his forearm. Just catching some shut-eye. Even the colony fed is a full-time job, and then some. Kang is standing at the door to the laboratory, looking out toward the walls and the wilderness beyond. We have done all we can, she says, and then sighs. I don't know what else there is to do. Perhaps inspiration will come to me if I work harder. Anemone looks up from her holopalm as you approach. Gooba, can you block someone from sending you hollows just temporarily? She asks. Her holopalm chimes with another incoming message. She winces. I really screwed up, and Javes won't leave it alone. I said I was sorry. Okay. This shades his eyes and looks up into the sun. This colony has never been my home, he says. I don't care what happens to it, honestly. His lips curve into a fleeting smile. I love your tomb notes, my home. Let's go, all events have respawns. Did not set off the bomb. Override. Let's, okay, survey the ridge. Is there anything else to do here? I'm just gonna check. Oop. Score. Rip Sim. just gone from the map. Oh, hello, Utopia. Utopia sent his team of geologists to get a closer look at this region's weird terrain. You come across them working, and Utopia beckons you over. Gooba, she says, drawing everyone's attention to you. Gooba, come here. Everyone, Gooba's been working in this area a while. Not sure they've got plenty of information on what's out here. The geologist politely turns towards you and listens. Here's what we've got so far, Utopia says, speaking directly to you. Judging from how the layers of sedimentation are broken up, this place used to be pretty flat, for there must have been a ton of earthquake activity, ripping up the land and bringing up these huge ridges. We can date the quakes around the time a lot of these ruins were created, she adds. And we're looking, but we haven't seen anything built after them. Like, that was it for the old conversion domain. These broken up layers are the same across the planet. Something sure happened about 20,000 years ago. Help them work. You set up a drone hive to measure the sediment layers along the cliffside and learn a few things about rocks. Oh, and that took everything, okay. As usual for this time of year, your dreams have been more vibrant and invasive. You have trouble distinguishing dream from reality during the day, and you dread falling asleep at night. Huh? How did the Hopeye get into your bedroom? Fucking ants! I think I'm having a good time, and then a fucking ant is crawling on me. And they smell horrible. It's from a past life? It's from my current life. Follow it. You chase it out your balcony door and find yourself in a thickly wooded path, the mushwood pressing in close on every side. The light is weird here, pink and glittering, casting teal shadows. The Hopeye disappears down a hole in the ground, and without thinking you dive after it, squeezing your shoulders to fit through. You tumble into a cave, beautiful and surreal, shimmering with a light that seems to come from within. When you take a step forward, granules of pink sand crunch underfoot. The cave opens out to a forest that seems lifted from a fairy tale. The sunlight beams through breaks in the trees, illuminating a path of mushroom-ringed stepping stones that lead you to a small cottage. You spot the Hopeye hurrying further down the path. Follow the Hopeye. Past the cottage is a field dotted with hunched-over figures. You watch them tend the crops with simple robotic motions, not caring as you tromp through their work. Their straw hats and overalls look tattered, and when you pass close to one, you realize they're not human at all. They're made of metal. Sightless glass eyes stare back at you, metal faces pockmarked with rust. The rasp of their terrible creaking floods your ears like a cloud of cicadas. The closest robot turns to you. Its glass eyes shine red, and it grabs you by the wrist. The grip is painful, bringing you to your knees in the loamy dirt. It pushes you down, planting you like a seed. The ground swallows you, and you can't even cry out. You're falling. You land hard on solid ground, your breath whooshing from you. It's hot here, impossibly hot. The twin suns beat down on you, burning your skin on contact, and the air is almost painful to breathe. In all directions stretches a barren wasteland of dead trees, like bones puncturing the dry skin of the planet. You rise from the dusty, cracked earth and begin to walk, stumbling over the bones of unknown creatures. You don't know where you're walking, only that the horizon doesn't change. The red sky just stretches overhead like a great bowl of heat pressing down on you. A great roar shakes you, and you turn to see a chimeric nightmare. A manicore with Governor Loom's face. He towers over you from a podium, his claws clacking and his tail thrashing as he proselytizes. "We primeval forest spelling," he chants. "We the river stemming, piercing deep the minds within. We the surface broad surveying. We the virgin soil upheaving." Overhead, the sky is streaked with smoke. You hear a rumbling in the distance. Stand to face it. You plant your legs and refuse to look away from the beast. With a yell from behind you, Mars appears and swings a sword made of light at the loom abomination. Its head rolls across the dirt, but it continues to speak. You turn from the scene and walk away, feeling the memory of it cling to you as you push and claw your way through to another reality. You stumble forwards into a dark, glowing forest. Blessedly cool air brushes your cheeks thick with moisture and making your face wet as if you've been crying. The path wends upwards, flanked by humanoid figures carrying candles. Some are wearing robes, some armor, some lab coats and envirosuits in formal wear. Some are elderly and some barely 10 years old. All turn to look at you, and you realize with a jolt, they're you. Every single one of them is you. You see yourself reflected in their eyes as they gaze upon you dispassionately. A line of possibility stretching out as far as you can see. This is like the Avatar state. When Aang is like looking at all the past generations of avatars. It just reminded me of that. I don't know. The hop-eye crouches between the ranks and gazes solemnly at you as you pass. Out as you pass. You walk steadily upward, feeling their unflinching gaze follow you. Overhead, the wormhole hangs in the sky like an overripe fruit, bending the heavy branch of space and time towards you. It's so close, you feel as if you could touch it. You stretch out your hand, seeking. You wake up. Milky quiet sunlight pours through your window, flakes of bromide snow piling up against the glass. You feel as tired as when you went to bed. Your birthday. You're 19 years old, only one more year as a teenager. What a strange, beginning. Huh? Just looking for things to pick up, collectibles. Fucking ants! They keep bothering me. This is standing barefoot, his toes digging into the ground and his face turned to the sky. Still feel like I can hear the planet sometimes, he says quietly. That weird? Even if it is, it gives me a sense of comfort. Like I'm part of something bigger than just me. Bigger than the colony. A slight smile plays across his face before disappearing, like he says something funny. Even bigger than humanity. I don't have 80 bravery yet? What the fuck? I didn't even notice that. What is it? Where am I at? Hello? There, 77. Let me check. Here? There, I can do it now. I dare you to. You gulp and bravely dare him to tell you. What's the deal between him and his sister? What about her? This scowls, digging the toe of his boot into the dirt. She's smart and perfect and everyone loves her. You wait patiently. Sometimes being brave means sitting in the silence. Eventually, he just crosses his arms and shrinks in on himself. When Tang got her genome therapy, all anyone wanted to talk about was how I shouldn't be sad about losing my brother. Like they had to tell me that? Dis says, huffing indignantly. I'm her twin? I knew she was a girl like 5 minutes after she did. She's always been my sister, he explained. She's always known who she is. But like, that was the problem, Dis says. He picks at a loose thread of his sleeve. She's so mature, you know? And I'm not. So she treats me more like her dumb little pet than her brother, telling me what to do and acting like she's so much smarter than me. He rubs his face. I mean, she is smarter than me. Smarter than everyone, even the adults. That doesn't mean she knows what's best for everyone. Dis lapses into silence. You wait a little longer to see if he wants to share anymore, but Dis seems intent on just staring off into the wilderness again. Aw, poor dude. Anyway, I gotta go relax in the walls. Pooped! Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this 3. I'm gonna hunt in the swamp. It's Anemone! Anemone is here to see off you and Base. Well, she's mostly here for Base. The campus hero, she says, kissing him enthusiastically. As she's in charge of her own defensive squad, she rarely sees field work. I'll keep the colony safe while you're gone. I'm counting on you, Face replies and gives her butt a squeeze. She giggles. Keep the home fires burning. I'll be back before you know it. Face is gonna destroy those punks. Well, Anemone says, running her finger over Base's arm with a blurry smile, maybe I should come with you someday. You know, to watch her back. Base's smug smile stiffens. You think I can't handle myself? He says quietly. Anemone's eyes go wide and she throws her arms around him. No, babe, she simpers. I just want to be with you. That's it. I'm sorry. Base's hand tightens to her waist. That's more like it. Ah, this is an abusive relationship. Look at that. This is not a good relationship. She's like, she's making herself smaller because of his ego and his need for dominance. When Anemone is kick-ass herself. Come on, Base. It's because he doesn't have many good role models, probably. To the right? Oh, there's nothing in there. Okay. My bad. I'm getting like ant trauma. It feels like they're crawling on me all the time, even when they're not. I flinch sometimes. I'm gonna talk to this one. There's a different variety of bush bub here in the swamps. Slimy, smooth-featured, and gloopy, like the rest of the foliage. They seem just as slow, but suspiciously intelligent as their dry biome cousins. You come across one of their little shrines and find their well-worn paths in the loamy soil. While you're inspecting the shrine, you hear a blurbling, groaning noise, and Vase smacks you with the butt of his rifle to get your attention. Barreling down on you from different directions on the path are two goop-faced bush bub sentries, calling out to each other as if they've been laying in wait. They attack! I gotta defend myself! Oh, cool. That's pretty neat. That one's just two. Okay. Oh, I'm not doing well on this, huh? Oh my god, I still have one of the baby ones. Jesus. Because, damn, I'm just gonna give up. It's okay. We can give up sometimes. Well, Vase takes on one of the goopy bush bub. The one charging towards you hits you like a sack of oatmeal. Wet and thick, much heavier than it looks. You're knocked unconscious. When you come to, you're being unloaded from the expedition's vehicle and taken to medbay. Vase's worried face stiffens and becomes his usual scowl when he notices you coming around. Don't get hurt again, he mutters. You caused me a kill. Aw, he really does care. Obliteration, Dis muses, regarding with a calm expression. Sounds scary, right? The idea of non-existence? He looks into the wilderness. I don't think so. If you're not afraid of death, total obliteration sounds wonderful. No more pain, no more drama, no more emotions, just peace. Honestly, I can't wait. Relatable. I get that. Oh, I got an egg! Hey, Dad, I got an egg! Go. Huh? Oh, injured. Can I go play with the animals? Research. Yeah, I'm gonna research or tending. Research xenobotany. Surveyor Tony found bleph grass shortly after the colony landed on Vertumna. The waxy violet grass grows almost everywhere near the colony, and when you steep its roots, you get a deep purple tea. It tastes horrible, grassy and bitter, but it's a stimulant and mildly hallucinogenic, so the adults think it's great. They've been drinking it for years with no ill effects except for an overwhelming urge to stick your tongue out and say bleh when you taste it. You've been trying to cultivate new variants that don't taste as awful, or have more potent stimulants or hallucinogenic properties. Maybe you will even find some entirely new medicinal usage. You're ready to test a new strain. Tangent would probably appreciate a better stimulant, and Cal would appreciate a nicer trip. Who will be your test subject? Tangent! You bring Tangent a cup of freshly brewed bleph tea 2.0 and ask her to give it a try. She swallows it down no problem. She pounds back cups of bleph tea all day. It's not like she needs the assistance to stay awake, but she says the stimulant helps her focus. After a while, you ask her to report on how she feels. I got an extraordinary amount of work done, she says, blinking rapidly, but I feel... Do you know, the voice? Like, my own internal voice feels much stronger, like... as if it were another person entirely sitting here beside me. She tilts her head to the side. Yes, I know, she says to the thin air. I will tell them about the tremors, thank you. Her eyes refocus as she looks at you again. I am also experiencing a higher than acceptable amount of muscle spasm, she says. I suggest crossbreeding the bleph grass with something that will act as an anti-convulsant. Ah, looks like this strain was a little too strong. Hank shakes her head. No, she exclaims. No, it's perfect. Don't destroy the strain. You should give the rest to me. Yes. Sure, have the last of it. Well, you were just gonna toss it away anyway. And if anyone can handle it, Zane can. I am a bad influence. Whoops. Oh wait, this is... I always forget. Doesn't matter what I do, Diz says, staring at the destruction still littering the colony from the last attack. Every year is the same thing. Sometimes I wish I really did blow up the wall. Then at least we wouldn't be in this stalemate. Okay, and then they go off together. Wait, I beat this already? I don't feel like I did. This seems new. You and Dis check your gear and set off on a deep wilderness hike. Dis in the lead. After a few hours, he's led you both on a grueling switchback up the side of a cliff. And as you pull yourself over the ledge, you curse his name. Dis, who is somehow still standing and as hale and hearty as ever, just laughs. Come on, he says, and you groan. It's a little farther. The view is worth it. You stagger to your feet and loop your arms around him, letting him support you as you take in the view, which is, as promised, awesome, in the sense that it fills you with genuine awe. A nearby waterfall begins to descend down the steep cliff, pooling at the bottom in an azure lake that glimmers in the second sunrise. From here, the colony is an insignificant smudge of dirt on the horizon. Dis takes a deep breath and releases it. I wish more people could see the colony like this, he says, holding you close. I think they finally realize how small and powerless we are compared to this planet. You and Sis have the kinds of conversations that are impossible to describe afterwards. You talk about everything and nothing. What you think you'll be doing in 10 years? What are the best and worst parts about being alive? Is human nature fixed, or is it a product of society? Are emotions necessary for survival, or do they just get in the way? This has some surprising opinions. You find yourself enjoying talking to him, even if he is a little intense. Boss event remaining. What is this damn boss event? I never see it. I thought it was the sim event, but there's something else, because it's still here telling me that there's a boss event. Yes, I went in a circle. He's alive! You're taking a sample at the base of the tree when you feel something patter off of your head and fall to the ground. A nut? That's strange. This species doesn't usually... You look up and your stomach lurches when you realize you've been being watched this whole time. A pair of familiar eyes peers down at you from the branches. It's Tim? He grins down at you. Well, if it isn't a little human, have you come to visit me, sugar bug? It's an alien ghost! Ah! You fall backwards into the dirt. And Sim just laughs like a bird from his perch until you calm down. If you did witness my death, I apologize, Sim continues. He leans down from his branch, his long hair dangling just out of reach. I imagine I didn't enjoy it much either. I guess I'm happy you're alive? Sim sighs gratuitously. I wish everyone felt that way, he mutters. One of my associates seems to feel otherwise. At your confused look, he waves his hands. One of the other gardeners, noctilucent. They really don't care for the humans, I'm afraid. And I'm afraid I've taken an interest in you. With a soft woof, Sim drops gracefully out of the tree and dusts himself off. You're treading dangerous water by hunting the animals, he says. They're becoming absolutely insufferable about it, and soon I won't be able to talk them down from taking matters into their own hands. He claps you on the shoulder. Take that warning with the candor with which it was intended, Tim turns to leave, but you sputter and grab his sleeve. You can't. After all that, you deserve some answers. Real ones. He owes you that. He turns to you. One arch eyebrow raised. What do you think, Uber? What do you really do here? Tim gives you a blank smile. I am a gardener, he says simply. I was created to be a gardener, and I imagine I'll be running to my services are no longer required. At your look of confusion, Tim softens. Humanity is so consumed with purpose, he says sadly. It is because you were not created for one. You spend the entirety of your short life under the impression you needed one. The concept of someone having a purpose is seductive. He shrugs one elegant shoulder. My existence is simple. I act in the ways for which I was created. That is not an interesting answer for an individualistic species as yourselves. I am aware. Perhaps we must both accept that it may be beyond the human capacity to comprehend. Are you really Sim? The one in the same? Sim answers, carefully prying your hand from his clothing. I acknowledge it is difficult for you to understand. He takes a deep breath, considering his words carefully. Humans have but one short window of consciousness, which encourages you to think of yourselves as individual points on the line of history. You are quite clearly not your parents or your grandparents or your unborn children. You are your own marvelous creature. He places his hand on the chest. I do not disappear when this one dies. I am eternal in a sense. I am all who came before, and I am all whom will come after. I am my own legacy. I am symbiosis. He tilts his head to the side, as if listening to something, and squeezes your hand. I fear I have said too much. I hope I can see you again soon, and that all may be revealed to you. That wasn't the boss event. Where is it? This is just a question mark. It's gotta be an exclamation point, right? I have no fucking clue. Oh, it's another one. East. Grab. I'm picking up so many things. Oh! Utopia has given you clearance to poke around the ruins in the secret valley. Stars, this place is neat. Just think so too. At least we didn't have to climb back down again, he mutters, but you can tell he's excited. The buildings are arranged in a spiral formation around a central point. They're made of that oil-slick obsidian, something that looks like petrified bone, and have parts missing where some other organic material has long since rotted away. It's all overgrown with vines and buried in shifting sands. You follow the spokes of the streets until you approach the center of the valley, where a large pyramid-shaped building sits surrounded by thumpers and a variety of other smaller buildings. Check out the pyramid. You walk all around the massive pyramid, but you don't see any entrance into it. It's sealed tight. It vibrates with significance and looms hugely in your dream memories. You feel faint just being close to it, but this doesn't seem to feel anything. When he assists you give up and investigate something else, you don't complain. Take a look at the thumpers. The 4 thumpers are in careful alignment, forming a square with wide paths between them and the pyramid in the center. One is almost totally reduced to rubble. None are still active. Investigate the other buildings. Smaller, more deteriorated pyramid buildings dot around the valley, purpose is unknown. There are also dozens of little obelisks, a couple meters wide with a circular design on one side. You approach a random one of these on the edge of the valley. Like the door in Dis's monitoring station. You know what to do. You get right up close to the circle and touch it, and the iris door slides open. Now you're looking through a large round door into a small featureless room. Quite small, quite featureless, totally dark, very creepy. But you can hear a faint hum. It's still powered? I just realized, do I even... Wait. Damn it! I need the +5. Shit. Okay, well, we're gonna bravely walk inside. Five. Eight. Nah. Okay, got 53 left. Let's just do. Ooh, this. push through. First me. This is better. Only marginally. I'm gonna push through. You walk in, disc close behind. And suddenly the iris closes, the floor lurches, and you're moving down. An elevator! The elevator squeals and grinds away like it hasn't been used in literally thousands of years. It doesn't go far, then grinds to a halt, and the iris opens to reveal a large room with obsidian walls. Like all convergent domain spaces, it's more cave than room, with stalactites everywhere and giant lumpy mounds of fungus. You wonder if the obsidian stuff they built with melts over time, running and dripping in extreme slow motion. There are consoles on all the walls, like this is some kind of control room, just like in the monitoring station Dis found. Most of it is long, dark, and covered with a thick layer of dust, except one device with two weird, bony, knobby sticks poking out of it. Grab the two interface sticks. You're starting to get the hang of these convergent domain interfaces. You just take a hold of these two stick thingies, and you cease to be yourself. You're like a visual, audio, and weirdly tactile representation of something vast. You have a feeling of being in a large and complex space. No, like you are the space. A digital space, like on a computer system. As if you were sucked into a 3D representation of the HoloNet, and you could see files and processes and whole worlds of data, but in alien formats that speak to you more in sensation than logic. You let go of the sticks and the console room comes back. You grab them again and understanding fills your head. Feels not all that different from your bouts of deja vu remembering. Like, of memories being inserted into your mind, and you suddenly just know how to use this interface. You just think where you want to go and what you want to know, and away you go. The word array comes to mind. A network of computers hosting millions of data nodes, information on every part of the planet, from weather to soil conditions to individual creatures. Not just computers, but entities that feel intelligent, and also digital artificial consciousness, like your ship's AI concurrents. They're processing all that data and triggering subroutines to make minute changes on the planet's surface. Then a booming voice enters your brain and obliterates all else, speaking more an abstract thought than words, but loud. What are you doing in Wormhole Observatory Array Console 5? Nosy little creature. Then an explosion in your head and you're thrown backwards and out of the array. There must have also been an explosion in your hands, which are now singed. The console is blown out and dead. You're shaken. Something didn't like you poking around in there. Whatever the array is, whatever lives in it has been watching you, probably ever since you landed. You have a feeling Sim has something to do with this. He's either in league with the array or he's part of it. But knowing Sim, he won't tell you anything until he's ready to. You tell Dis about the array and the voice saying Wormhole Observatory. He looks around, impressed. Convergent Domain was sure up to some shit, he says. And now you know about the array and how to access it. That could come in very useful if it turns out to be a danger to your colony. You decide to call it a day, your arms feeling all tingly and weak from getting electrocuted, and your heart is still thumping a mile a minute. But you'll be back. Damn, I couldn't do it. My little goober is so sleepy, so tired. Doesn't matter what I do, Dis says, staring at the oh, never mind. I already read that. I'm gonna go hang on the wall. Dis also decides to take it easy this month and spends a lot of his time just relaxing with you on the wall. It's a nice secluded place, perfect for spending some alone time with your boyfriend. Governor Loom enters the colony square to his customary bombastic fanfare. Brass bands, red carpet, banners with the Heliopause logo snapping in the hot dust breeze. Disgusting. The governor gets his usual tithe of applause from die-hard soldiers, but it's obvious how tired and fearful everyone has become in service to his war. You catch Marge's attention, and she rolls her eyes and makes a gagging motion. Cal looks sullen and withdrawn, refusing along with the rest of Geoponics to give Bloom any applause. The governor raises his hands for silence, that was largely unnecessary. Pioneers of Retumna, he begins. We stand here today, not shivering and quaking in fear, but with our hands around the neck! He makes a ringing gesture of the player herself! Before he can continue, Mars leaps from her seat and runs to the front of the stage. A ripple of fear goes through the crowd. You all remember what happened to Utopia last year. It doesn't have to be like this, she cries, speaking to the crowd. We don't have to listen to him. He's just a bully with a gun like the ones we left behind on Earth. Watch in delight. She turns to the council. Why are you just sitting there? Come on! Are you gonna do anything? The council look at each other. Red seems unmoved, and Utopia shrinks into herself, holding her hand to her chest. Auntie Seaton looks concerned, but fearful of Bloom. Instance is grim, and Seek just waits to see what happens. Only your dad looks enthusiastic, but he's no politician. He keeps quiet. Bloom gestures sharply to his guards, and Mars is seized and taken out of sight. In the uncomfortable silence that follows, the governor strides to the front of the stage and looks down on the crowd. As I was saying, you can trust me to lead this colony, and humanity, into a new era, he says. An era of peace and prosperity where we no longer need to fear the creatures that come out into the night. He raises his fist to the sky. This planet is rich, he cries. It is the Earth we were promised, unscarred by the mistakes of our forefathers. Here we will become what humanity has always strived to become, caretakers of a new garden, children of a new Earth. People cheer, spurred on by Loom's display of dominance. Loom looks upon the crowd with pride. Pioneers, we're so close, he says. Soon this planet will be ours, and all her riches and wonders with it. But first, he continues, we need to adapt to the harsh realities of our current world. He gestures at the council. I know you all love your council, but it's time we thought about the future. We need to guard the colony leadership. He says this with disdain. Oh, we need to guard the colony leadership against sudden upheavals, deaths, imprisonments, and the like. I decided to instate a second position for each seat in the council, he announces. Loom explains that every council member will take an official second in command. Seconds will be trained in the running of the department and will be ready to take over the department should the worst happen during an attack. The council looks concerned. Is this how Loom begins to cycle off the colonial government with a veneer of legitimacy? Applicants must have spent a minimum amount of time in that department and will be judged by the council based on their relevant skills. Though Loom will likely argue hard for his Helio appointees. You scribble your name on the ballot for... I guess? Surveyor, maybe? Utopia's a little guarded as you enter your name for consideration. Just so long as it's one of us and not one of Loom's lackeys, she says quietly. I can't trust one of them to have my back when I'm out in the wilderness. She shoots an acidic look at Rhett, who looks chummy with the Helio soldiers. You win! You're second surveyor now. Utopia breathes a sigh of relief and gives you a hug. I'm happy with you, sweet, she says. If something happens to me out there, I know the colony is going to be in mighty fine hands. When the voting is concluded, Seek announces the names of those newly appointed seconds. The crowd cheers for you when Seek reads out your name as second surveyor. You don't recognize the Helio appointed to second administrator. Must be one of Loom's people. Base is appointed to second security officer under Rhett. He gives a little speech essentially congratulating himself and promising to single-handedly win this war. Tangent stands proudly in a rightful place as chief engineer instances side as her second. Hal is chosen to be second cultivator. He looks a little overwhelmed. Your dad must have put his name in. The steward of the heliopods joins Auntie Seaton as her much-needed second steward. There's a lot of babies in the colony now, and someone has to help take care of them. After the politicking is over, the crowd adjourns to the feast tables and, eventually, the dance floor. The sun set on the long day, the heat breaks, and the party continues well into the night. After the festivities, it's straight back to work as usual. Everyone complains. You usually get at least a few days off after Vertumnalia, but Loom reminds the colony that it's only a few short months before the next attack. Your dreams begin to increase in intensity as the wormhole draws closer to the planet, filled with terrifying and confusing visions. A feeling of urgency dogs your steps like you're running out of time. That's ominous. I mean, it is, we are almost out of time for, this run. Can I talk to anyone else? Nah, they're all busy. New boss event spawned? What is this boss event? Time to run around until I find it. Question mark. I'm gonna go up first. Question mark. Not it. Nope. Are we gonna be able to talk to Sim again? Is he gonna be there? Sim! Sim materializes out of the forest before you. Zuba, he says gravely. Forgive my directness. You must come with me now. He places his hand on your shoulder. Please trust me when I say I've done my best to argue on behalf of your kind. I hope only for the continued survival of humanity. Ominous. He crouches down to slide into a hidden opening under the roots of a tree. You follow, feeling strangely as if you're crawling into the belly of some animal. You emerge into a cave filled with a hum of strange machinery. A bank of ancient-looking control panels and a crystal tank of glowing liquid seem almost to have grown out of the natural rock. Mineral deposits from moisture trickling down the walls of her crimson. Sim leads you to a console. This is the array, he says, pressing what seem to be buttons. As I've explained, this body array is only a vessel. My consciousness, the person I am, is stored in the array. I return to a regularly storing my body in the regeneration tank, while I back up what I've learned that day into the array. Physical forms are prone to injury and death, Sim says quietly. It is temporary but highly unpleasant. Therefore, the overseer will first remain in the array. Sim directs you to two weirdly fungal grills. Please take both of these interface handles. You cautiously touch the handles and say, so the overseer is a computer? The word software would be more accurate. A strange presence speaks in your head. Play cool. You can feel the overseer pause, then a sensation in your mind that reminds you of someone clearing their throat. I am the overseer, the voice continues. I speak for the gardeners. We will now show you what we are. This is so weird. You have the oddest feeling of memories being inserted into your mind. First a trickle, then a flood. A civilization called the Convergent Domain once existed on this planet over 20,000 years ago. In your mind, you see their dominion stretch from pole to pole, their farms and solar arrays glittering on the surface as their massive cities tunnel below. I already know about the domain. We are aware of that, the overseer replies, his voice drying your mind. We know most everything that happens on this planet. The Convergent Domain created the gardeners as their ecological control system. A vast network of artificial intelligences stored deep underground in a digital array. Self-propagating control towers and cloning stations were seeded, allowing a gardener program to take biological form, downloading a copy of its consciousness into a host body created to suit the task at hand. You think of Sim, his body created to suit the task of befriending you? Under the direction of the Convergent Domain, the gardeners controlled the weather, the acidity of the soil, the cultivated species in their farms, and the rapidly shrinking wild areas of the planet. The overseer doesn't quite sigh, but you get the impression it would. Over time, the domain nearly destroyed this planet. There were too many of them? Correct, the overseer responds. They could not stop multiplying with the pride and compulsion that can only come from evolutionary drive. They paved the planet's surface with solar panels to run their massive underground cities. There were millions of them, then billions, tens of billions. Too many for the planet to sustain. The last directive the gardeners were given by the domain was to repair the planet's destroyed ecosystem, the overseer said solemnly. The gardeners tried, but it was too late. When the crops failed and atmosphere became too thick for sunlight to pierce, the Convergent Domain perished by the billions. The last survivors took to the sky in colony ships and never returned. You try to imagine a tragedy on this scale, but it's just too enormous, too abstract to wrap your head around. The overseer continues relentlessly, new thoughts flooding into your mind.
Over the millennia, the gardeners took their task seriously. It takes little effort to render a planet inhospitable with significant dedication to restore it. Under the guidance of the gardeners and the final directive of the convergent domain, nature at last reclaimed the barren planet. The gardener existed in perfect balance. And now, their species has invaded it.
Yeah, we make this planet less boring.
That is one way to put it, the overseer replies.
You feel annoyance prickle up your throat, and you flush hot and squirmy. Is that overseer's emotions? You're connected rather intimately.
Some vertebrate species have a technique of future sight, which the gardeners harness to catch glimpses into the garden of timelines. We see that you possess this technique too, alone in your kind. We have foreseen that humans pose a great danger to this planet. You are a monoculture, an invasive species. You throw our hard-won balance in disarray. Since arriving, you have shown nothing but a willingness to consume the planet's resources and replace them with more humans.
We didn't even know you were here! You tell the overseer that your parents didn't know. They told you long-range scans that the planet was unpopulated. You get the impression the overseer is scoffing at you.
Is this an argument in your favor? That you would feel guiltless in destroying Vertumna's natural habitat if there were no sentient species to claim ownership of it? The gardeners do not own the planet, the overseer tells you. We are the planet. Most gardeners would prefer to stamp you humans out like encroaching weeds, the overseer says without malice. Indeed, we have tried using ecologically compliant organic methods. We are impressed at your tenacity to withstand these eradication procedures.
The yearly attacks, the famine, the pollen, not random natural occurrences at all, but gardeners' tactics to encourage the eradication of pests.
But symbiosis speaks in defense of your kind, the overseer continues, and it took effort to convince us that you were sentient and capable of communication. You present us with the quandary. You come from the stars, refugees of a catastrophe of your own design, one that you are intent to recreate here, on a planet which still bears the scars of the last time it was used carelessly. So we ask, what are we to do with you?
Humans can change. Help us.
So we teach your kind to be stewards of nature, the overseer replies. Perhaps your children take up the mantle as well, and their children. But soon you are dead, as are your children's children. Generations pass. No one alive remembers the time the gardeners came to the humans and taught them the proper ways to live. And now there are too many of you to teach and your behavior too entrenched. What then? Genocide?
You have no answer. There is silence in your head, and you only hear the sound of water trickling down the cave walls and the gentle hums of the machines. Eventually, the overseer speaks in your mind one last time.
For now, you may leave freely. We will consider this quandary, and we will be monitoring you and the other humans.
Feel a strange pull at your consciousness as you remove your hands from the interface.
There you have it, Sim murmurs. That is my boss.
Your boss needs to get out more.
Sim huffs like he's afraid to laugh.
He walks over and runs his hand over the consoles.
And now you know how to connect to the array, he says quietly. But you should not come here unless I am with you.
Sim takes her hands and looks at you solemnly.
When you interface with the array, you hold everything we are in your hands. It took a great deal of negotiating to convince my fellow gardeners to trust you with his power. Please, do not prove this trust mistaken.
Learn Sim Augment. Sim nods as you approach.
Just the human I wanted to see, he says with a solemn smile. The overseer would like to speak to you again.
Sim leads you to the same cave as before. Nothing has changed, and you get the impression that nothing much does change. You place your hands on the handles of the array and wait.
We have thought over our conversation, you feel the overseer in your mind. We consider that symbiosis may be corrupt and in need of reabsorption, but his affection for your species is genuine. So, we have an offer to make you. Humans wield godlike powers, but lack the capacity to understand the consequences of their actions, the overseer explains. You have no connection to the land you claim beyond the short, brutal window of your own consciousness. Our offer is this. We will not eradicate your colony. Instead, you will be tended to, just as the gardeners tend to the rest of the planet. You will be given fresh water, clean air, and good soil, and be protected from outside harm. In exchange, humans will stay within their colony and limit their population growth as to maintain the balance within the habitat. You will not leave this territory to procure more resources. You will cease all hunting, logging, and expansion outside of your valley.
Don't you realize I'm just a kid?
Symbiosis tells us you are the only one who could bring this to the other humans, the overseer responds. Never underestimate the power of a single seed. Now you will go and convince the others of your species to agree to our compromise.
I'll try my best.
You say you don't know if there's any way to convince Comfort and Loom to agree to this. The Overseer seems to accept this. An envoy will visit in glow season to discuss it formally, it replies. To be clear, an armed envoy. We suggest making yourself look non-threatening by then. Tim gives you a slight smile. This seems like it went well, he says. I fought hard for them to consider options of an eradication. I'm glad that my trust in you was correct. As Sim leads you back to the surface, I highly wonder at him. This man, or rather this ancient artificial intelligence resembling a man, has pushed his directive to the limit to help humanity. His interest started with mere curiosity. Over time, he's come to love humans and value your survival. Has he made a mistake? Quite the question. I have no answers. I'm still looking for the boss event. Thirsty. Oh, I can go into it again? You and Dis are exploring the ruined wormhole observatory again. It feels so familiar. You've dreamed about this place many times, and it's like you're just remembering it all now. This time, the dream memories grip you. You wander as if sleepwalking down familiar paths. You look up and see the wormhole faint in the sky above. Time is right to observe it. Dis tries to keep up. Where are you going? He asks angrily. You don't answer. You're trying to concentrate on finding the place. You approach the large pyramid in the center of the complex. Beside it is one of the smaller elevators, a little monolith with a round iris door. This is the place. Your head throbs with it. Even standing outside, you know there's something down there. Find a way in. You look for one of those elevator monoliths near the pyramid and find it, but it's overgrown with snaking vines and brambles, with very large flowers all over. You could push through them, but... This stops you and shows you a Geiger counter reading on his holopalm. These flowers seem to be radioactive. Your suit won't protect you for long. Neutralize the radiation. Pass on by? No problem. Good thing you studied this planet earlier and know its wily ways. Tickle it just so and the radioactive flowers close. It parts to let you through. You enter the elevator, thankfully still working, and descend beneath the ground. It opens to a kind of antechamber room with an exit at the other end, leading to the heart of the pyramid. There are glyphs carved into crystal panels on the walls, symbols that resemble the wormhole. You start across the room. The further you go, the more your head swims. You have to pause. I think you might faint. You shake your head, trying to clear it. Maybe this is a bad idea. Keep going. The fog slowly clears from your eyes. Your head still hurts, but you can think again. Dis looks concerned, even going so far as to reach out to steady you. You okay? Try to explain it to Dis. It's hard to put into words. You just say, my head hurts. Obviously, he says. But no, it's more than that. Seeing things, it's kind of like the array, and kind of like a dream, but you feel that something super important is up ahead, and you need to see it. Maybe we'd better leave, Dis says nervously. You don't look so good. Keep going. Past the antechamber. Fuck! I need 50. Damn it. Damn it, I'm nowhere close to that. Okay, I have to black out. You slip unconscious. When you wake up, you're back at the collection site. Dis must have dragged you out, then calls for help. Do I have anything to help with that?
I mean, I have +10 to all skills. I'm trying to... Damn it! Wait, autosave. This should be good. So I need 50 toughness. Or 50 reasoning. Time to go home. I'll try and maybe I can get like a card or something to raise toughness or reasoning. I just need to head on home. I gotta go home. Aw, nope. I need reasoning. How much is reasoning, huh? What is it again? 29? Yeah, it'd be easier to get the reasoning up. I guess I have to go back to school, huh? Let's go to class. I don't have enough time, I don't think. It's gonna be glow soon. +3 reasoning? Okay, tutor children. Today you're tutoring Nougat and a couple of younger kids in ancient Earth geography. They're learning the names of the countries by pointing to them on maps and saying a few facts about them. It seems kind of pointless to memorize places that these kids will never see, but it's not like you can teach them much about Vertumen geography yet. You're still discovering it. Billions of people? Nougat says, skeptically squinting at a hollow projection of Earth. How did they fit everyone into one little planet with all the trees and animals and stuff? Was it all like one big colony? Tell her the sad truth. It's nice to live in ignorance, but Nougat's going to learn the truth just like you did in humanities class. You tell her life on Earth was brutal and hard. Humanity destroyed the environment and fought over what was left. There were no trees or animals left. Not as many as there should have been anyway. Most people were poor, hungry, and sick, and the ones who weren't kept all the nice things for themselves. At least your parents were lucky to escape on the stratospheric, and you were lucky to be born on it. You're all lucky to be here now. No matter what, at least Vertumna is an Earth. Nougat looks bewildered. She doesn't really watch holovids. Only the cheerful ones for kids that don't address Earth's decline, so she had no idea. But they still had really, really tall buildings, right? Fit all the people? She asks. You sigh and tell her they did, and she nods in satisfaction and goes back to her schoolwork. Yeah, I am having trouble right now. New perk. Blue cards get 1+ in mental challenges. I'm not gonna be able to make it. I have 33 now. You hear a scuttling of metallic legs. What the heck? And a strange knee-high robot bursts into your engineering lab, going full tilt on its 6 spidery legs. It slams to the wall hard enough to knock itself down. It seems to be having trouble getting back up again, and is flailing its metal legs around dangerously. Fix the robot. Oh, Goober, thank you, Congruence says, wheeling in on her portable screen. I was running diagnostics on the little fellow when it broke away and made a run for it. I really need somebody to be my hands here, she continues. Everything used to be easier with Hal around. I miss him. Congruence doesn't need to clear her throat, but you get the distinct impression she's simulating it anyway. If you want to come help me in the robotics lab, just come down anytime. Hey. We're at 37. Tutor children again. Numi needs help studying for their physics class. They have this idea that they want to be an engineer when they grow up because they like robots and holograms, but they're having trouble actually learning any engineering. Nomi pulls up a practice test on their holopalm. The Earth textbooks are full of this kind of dull rote learning, useful only for finding gaps in your knowledge. For Nomi, though, that gap seems to be everything. Oh, I'm hopeless at this, they exclaim, tugging on the ends of their asymmetrical haircut. There's just so many numbers and formulas. I didn't know there was going to be so much math and engineering, and I have to figure out what I'm going to do for my project, they continue. I want to code a chatbot, Goober, next week. How do I get here from there? Take a look at this test. Only 20% correct. Oh no. Some of their answers are embarrassingly super wrong, too. Nomi's final project is due next week, and you have to crunch a whole course load of info into their head and leave them enough time to write their bot? Can you do it? Yeah, for treat. Nomi will never be able to cram an entire course and do their final project. Luckily, 2 people can code a chatbot faster than 1, especially one of those people is you, and you're doing most of the work. You show Nomi how to write a chatbot program. By the end, you've made a simple bot that can access Congruence's language module and respond to questions posed in natural language. It's like speaking to a very rudimentary artificial intelligence. Nomi adds some flair, but the back end is entirely your work. You encourage them to submit it as their final project anyway. They do, and they get a great grade. Congratulations! You passed engineering class. You did Nomi a favor, but you didn't actually help them learn much. Thank you for helping me, Goober, they say. Let's be honest, though. You did all the hard work. I won't be able to rely on you forever. I'm going to try some other things, they say. Maybe there is something I'm naturally good at. Whoa. Hmm. 1098, maybe? Maybe I should change one of them. Yellow. Doesn't help a lot, to be honest. Damn. Rock hard. Oh my god. That's a 5. number. Oh my god, why do I have this fucking baby one still? Yeah, finally! Okay, we are in the middle of wet. Come on. 41. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it to where I need. Want to study together? You offered to help Tangent with her schoolwork, but she just shrugs you off. I'm not working on school anymore, she says. Chief Engineer Instinct says I'm smart for my age, and my talents are wasted in school. She opens her hollow palm and shows you some of her lab notes. Ugh, it's so much work, though, she complains. Honestly, maybe it would be better to be like everyone else. Unintelligent people seem happier. Just then, Anemone jogs by with a squad of soldiers, all marching in time. She gives you a little wave, then cringes as the leader barks at her to keep her eyes forward. Hank shudders. On second thoughts, forget I said. I'll keep being smart, thank you. You spot Tang sitting on a large boulder outside the lab. She's eating a pressed soy bar ration with determination, alternating bites with huge gulps of water to wash it down as quickly as possible. What are you doing out here? She stops her grim work long enough to acknowledge your question. I hit the limit on the number of consecutive hours they'll allow me to work in the lab, she says. So I'm taking a break, she says, making mocking air quotes around the sentence. How dare they? That's what I said, Tang replies. They just think they can boss me around because I'm younger. She scoffs. I'm smarter than any two of them combined. Ugh. Tang groans and rubs her bloodshot eyes. I just want to work, you know? It's so frustrating to be deep in the zone and feeling like I'm just on the precipice of a discovery, and then someone tells me that apparently my genius is taking too long. I want them to treat me like I belong there, the way Dr. Instance does, Tang mutters. She actually respects me. They're just jealous that she likes me more. Tang slides off the boulder, and you see the color bleed from her face as she stumbles into you, nearly crumbling to the ground. Oh, she grits out, leaning over while the dizziness passes. I thought the nutritional uptake of that bar would be quicker than a real meal, especially after taking into account the time required to walk to the cafeteria. Trails off, realizing she's clutching your jacket and pushes you away. My apologies, she says, brushing herself off. I am, regrettably, it's only human. Tang scrubs her hands over her face. Sometimes it feels like I'm a prisoner in my own body, like I can feel myself trapped in it, stinking, sweating back of me and bad impulses. Stuck with the burden of keeping it alive every day for the rest of my life. And her voice breaks. Say nothing. Tang takes a few seconds to compose herself, blotting her eyes daintily with her knuckles. Just resentment for my physical form. Reminds me when I was little that an instance used the gene tech to give me this body. The right body. This body's wrong too, she adds quietly. It's right in a lot of ways, but it's so imperfect. So human. If I were an AI, everything would be more simple. I could just do my work. I could just do what I'm good at. No messy biological functions, no emotions, just clear and beautiful purpose. I hate this, Tang sniffles. I hate feeling like this. I think you're beautiful the way you are. Tang scowls. Oh, nice for you, she sneers. You're right. People finding me... Why did I pick that? Let me do that again. Let me redo that. Oh, fuck. I did it again! Not again! It's because I was clicking through it. Okay.
always here to listen, Tang. Tangent manages a watery smile as she wipes her eyes. Thanks, she says. I apologize for being all wet on. It won't happen again. She wipes her eyes and straightens her jacket, then takes a deep breath and holds it for 10 seconds, her eyes closed. By the time she opens them again, she looks ready to go back to work as if nothing has happened. You admire Tangent's determination. Why does he think it might come at a price? Can I still? No. Of course not. I've got to go hang out on the wall. Ah, shit. That's a wrap. Okay. You're heading back to the quarters at the end of the day, and as you pass by the medbay, you hear shouts and scrambling from within. Several surveyors come back with serious wounds, not the usual broken limbs and sunstroke. One of them is holding a towel to her own leg, staunching blood flow from a massive animal bite. Another looks nearly blinded from acid. Looks like chaos in there. Help in medbay. Gosh, it's a good thing you were here. Triaging and getting the most badly wounded into medbeds is difficult, and the others need traditional medical attention while they wait. It's hectic, stressful work, but you're able to keep your ahead and provide assistance. Good work in there, Goober. Chief Engineer Instant says, You know, with how the colony's grown, I could use an assistant nurse here. Someone I can trust to take care of things while I'm working in the lab. Come back next month and give me a hand, if you're interested. Knowing the attack is coming, as it always comes in glow, does nothing to calm your nerves. There's only so long you can handle sheltering in your quarters. As the month draws longer, you find yourself almost compulsively walking the walls when you're not working, scanning the tree line for the first sign of trouble. You're there when you see them. Dark on dark shapes coming out of the forest, perfectly silent. You watch with the lookouts as more and more figures amass at the forest edge. Minutes pass as the horde pushes into the firebreak, numbering at least. It must be in the thousands. More animals than you've ever seen in one place. The ground is choked with a teeming carpet of smaller creatures darting in and among the legs of... Oh no. The forest bends as a faceless emerges from its depths, followed by two more. The mood on the walls is discouraged. One faceless destroyed your colony. Two faceless required an irresponsible number of explosives to take down. How are you supposed to be able to handle three? Wait, there's even more? A familiar being cuts through the horde and stands at the front like a general leading their army. Gardeners must come in all shapes and sizes. But you know this one from the hatred in their eyes. It's Noctilucent. Noctilucent steps forward. For millennia, I have been tasked with keeping this planet safe from invasive species. Extreme weather, plague, famine, the migration of predators. All tactics I have used to ensure an invasive species cannot find a foothold where they do not belong. Their command of the human language has vastly improved since you saw them last. The gardeners learn quickly. Controlling you by indirect means has proven ineffective, they say, glaring up at the row of horrified colonists atop the walls. I can no longer ignore the destruction you have caused, and the threat you represent to the planetary ecosystem. However, Sim steps out of the tree line and stands beside Noctilucent. His eyes find yours unerringly across the firebreak. Some gardeners argue that you have the capacity for reasons, Noctilucent continues, so I have come to offer you an alternative. Your unconditional surrender. Noctilucent smirks up at you. Surrender is the correct word, is it not? Something your singular violent brains can understand? The terms are simple. Humanity will cease reproduction, cease expansion, and in return will be allowed to live out your remaining lifespans within the bounds of your walls. Do you accept? This is still genocide, to be clear. Just because they're not killing them, like, right now, doesn't mean that it's not genocide. Preventing reproduction of an entire group of people is still genocide. Loom steps forward. I don't know who you think you are, buddy. His voice booms out from the wall. But you and your bullshit deal can bugger off and keep buggering off until you think you've buggered off so much you just can't bugger off any farther. He points at Noctilucent. Then bugger off some more. This planet belongs to us humans now. It's hard to tell, but you think Noctilucent looks amused. Maybe they were hoping this would be your answer. And of course, with Loom speaking for the colony, it was inevitable. So be it, they reply, and the attack begins. Fight! Species is truly hopeless. Noctilucent snarls. I told them you would never put aside your egos. The wave of attackers rolls over the fire ray, crashing against the walls. Flying creatures scream overhead and the sound of plasma rifle fire fills the air. You rush toward the garrison to join the squads. As you run, you notice the colony defenses are mediocre. As you run, you notice that the colony seems to be holding its own. Nothing has breached the walls yet, and it seems that the tide of monsters emerging from the trees has slowed. The colony looks evenly matched. The battle's not in the bag, but so long as the defenses hold, things look hopeful. You're descending from the walls when you are thrown to the ground by a tremendous rumble. A few meters in front of you, something tunnels toward you through the mud. You have the impression of something long and dark that cuts the ground like a shark through water. You scramble to your feet, but it cuts off your path, forcing you towards a geoponics outbuilding. It's a storage shed, mostly empty besides bales of hay used as float cow feed. It's dimly lit, but you think you can see another door at the far end. The creature advances, throwing up rocks and chunks of dirt as it tunnels closer. Fight it! Goal of 111. I don't know about you. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. What? Huh? One slot card become. Oh, okay. Next round. Yeah. I'm gonna lose. You see me? I'm gonna lose. Could be better. No, because that's 4. I have lost. Oh wait, this one. Oh, I can push through. You grab a rake and back into the doorway to wait for the monster to emerge. As it rears up and thrusts a long black snout out of the ground, you stab the rake down into it, dispatching it. Before you even have time to be relieved, you spot a second one tunneling toward you. You take another step back into the storehouse and feel heat. The building is on fire. The dry thatch roof quickly ignites and rains flaming debris down on your head, filling the room with toxic smoke. The ashy heat is intense. You can feel it ripping the moisture from your lungs with every breath. You rush for the rear door, but the fire moves so fast. You're trapped as a roof beam collapses in front of you. You hear a cracking noise, then pain, and a noise like a bell. The world goes dark. You wake to chaos, a confusion of light and heat and smoke. Fire! This is from the very beginning. I remember this. Wow! Your head is pounding. You must have hit it and blacked out, but you aren't sure how you got here, or what on Vertumna is happening. Something important you need to remember. Your stomach lurches as the floor crumbles beneath your feet, then collapses. Your body aches and your eyes burn from the smoke. A figure appears through the flames. Friend? Your friend? Wait, why can't you remember her name? She's gesturing and shouting at you, but all you can hear is a ringing in your ears. I'm out. You try to stand up, but one of your legs folds uselessly underneath you. It won't hold your weight. Your friend pulls you out of the revel. She throws your arm over her shoulder and half drags you towards the door. Through it, you see a deep, eerie twilight, dark blue and cold against the heat of the fire around you. Low season. Glowing eyes! You shake your head to clear your vision. Is that some kind of dog? From Earth? Hold on. You remember this from another life. Not a dog, a monster. It's about to end your life. And probably Anemone's too. She tightens her grip on you. Dodge and fight it. You shout a warning and push Anemone to one side as you dive to the other. The beast roars and transforms into a towering horror, a thing that has haunted your dreams for years, but you're ready for it. You realize you've been ready for it your whole life. You distract the creature by hurling a piece of debris, which it catches in midair and grinds it to bits with its powerful jaws. This gives Anemone time to get close and zap it with her stun gloves. While the creature is immobilized, you jump in and finish it off with your blast cutter. You emerge from the inferno of the shed, burned and concussed, but alive. Anemone smiles. Good to be alive. You have your wounds tended in the med bay. Other soldiers there are in much worse shape, but at least the battle is over. It was long and bitter, resulting yet again in the destruction of most of the sawmills and arable lands. The defenders managed to repel the Xenos before damage could be done to the inner colony. Or maybe the monsters lost interest before finishing the job. It's as if the planet wants you to suffer. It doesn't actually intend to finish you off. Yet, anyway. But for now, you're just happy you survived to live another day. What day is? Your birthday! By the time you've recovered, the suns have returned. It's your 20th birthday. You're a fully fledged adult now, though in many ways you already were and have been for a long time. You and your friends step out to greet the new day and start the rest of your life on Vertumna. The end. We got a second ending. You reached your 20th birthday. Explorer. There's a whole planet out there to explore, and you intend to see every corner of it. It's a dangerous planet out there, but also full of endless frontiers and new discoveries to make. You prefer to explore alone. When it's just you and your glider, you're free to go where the wind takes you. You have some wild adventures, and are lucky to always return to the colony with stories to tell. What about... This is a hard person to love, but once he's let you in, he's by your side for life. He never really finds himself on the right side of colony authority, but he's the best surveyor in expeditions. Utopia defends him as best she can. He spends more and more time outside the colony walls, even during Globe when the colony is supposed to be locked down. This earns him some distrust from the more militant factions in the colony. What is he doing out there? Who is he meeting? Utopia's word keeps him out of trouble, but it isn't enough to keep Dis from frequently being called into questioning. Dis grows to resent the colony more and more every year. You fight a lot about how he feels trapped here, how it feels like he's blaming you sometimes for keeping him here, but he tries to make the best of it for you. Once you put in the work to get past Dis's defenses, he proves to love you with the same single-minded obsessiveness with which he loves Vertumna. It's a little overwhelming at times, honestly. He's very intense, and after growing up an outcast, he can often seem dependent on your attention. You're one of the only people he's ever truly loved and felt like he was loved in return. Deprived of it for so long, his hunger for it is bottomless to the point of self-destruction. Oh wow, that made me really sad. It's something you keep revisiting during your relationship, but never to the point of breaking up. You're a bit of an odd bird yourself, and you have your own jagged edges that only Dis can soothe. After all, who else would believe that you're stuck in a time loop? Dis continues his work in expeditions for many years, finding freedom and adventure in the wide, open frontiers of Vertumna. He's chosen a dangerous life, and his immunity to fear, a natural human response to the very real dangers of a hostile world, means that he takes on even more danger than most. Eventually, it catches up with him. Though there's no body to recover, his funeral is well attended by all of expedition. And of course by Tangent. But what about... Symbiosis, the bridge between two peoples. Undying, never aging, ever patient Sim becomes as much a mystery to you as the rest of the planet. The colony continues to buckle under yearly attacks and unnatural disasters, but Sim never wavers in his passion to learn everything about humanity. Though he remains as cryptic as always, his affection for your species only deepens. In your grief and demoralizing fatigue, you sometimes start to blame Sim. Why can't he stop these attacks? Why can't he argue with the gardeners to leave humanity alone? He never holds it against you, no matter how cruel your words. Every time you calm down, he patiently reminds you that his dissenting voice is one of the only reasons humanity hasn't been destroyed outright. Meeting Sim in secret makes you feel horrible sometimes, like you're being torn apart in the middle of this war. You love your friends, but the war takes its toll on your friendship just like it wears down the colony. You visit Sim as your job allows it, but over time, you see him less. He doesn't need to come to your rescue anymore. You're an adult now, and you know what you're doing out in the wild. Eventually, you stop seeing him at all. You think he might have taken another form. Or maybe he's moved on from humans to study some other animal. Or maybe the gardeners have given up on understanding humans. The attacks only grow stronger every year. But what about... Your dad never really recovered from your mom's death. He tries, but his smile just isn't the same. He continues to carry the weight of feeding the colony on his shoulders, ranching and farming and analyzing new native plants, trying to find better ways for humanity to thrive on Fortuna. The attacks of the colony destroy his progress every year, and the stress ages him prematurely. You watch your father grow weaker under the strain, until one day a sudden heart attack claims him in the field. He works hard every day to see Fortuna flourish. We have to go on without him. He'll always be with you, in the ground you walk on, in the trees that give you shade, and in the cycle of life that sustains you. But what about... Your Hawkeye is a good companion, but you're no replacement for his own species. When a herd of Hawkeye roam close enough to the colony, you release it back into the wild. And a few years later, you're greeted by one morning by a whole litter of Hawkeye kittens outside your door, and Optimus Prime proudly showing off their family. And in my later years, the days turn to months, eventually becoming years and decades. And you know you're old. Life is tough and rewarding. Fortuna continues to challenge you and your loved ones. The attacks continue every year, getting harder and harder to withstand. And not just that, but droughts, earthquakes, diseases, storms, pestilence, and more. Some years you worry that the colony and humanity will be wiped off the map for good, but humans are good at surviving. The adversity strengthens your resolve. You mourn your dead, celebrate your births, and keep adapting to whatever the planet throws at you. This is your home, for better or worse. You do what you can to make it a good one. Eventually death comes to you as it does to everyone. In the moment of your death, they smile. We had a good life, don't you think? But there were so many possibilities, and this was only one of them. I lived my best life. Oh, Tammy. And we have 30 minutes left. Start new life. Wake up again. Just clicking through this. I'm trying to think of a new name.
Goobs? Which time is Goobs? How about this? Her favorite present is... your mom's gardening album? An animal book from your dad? How about a learning tablet from Professor Hal? Hal does science, which is what runs the ship. He also teaches the older kids. The tablet is some games that teach math using pictures, and it has lots of letters you can't read yet. From as early as you can remember, you've had vivid dreams every night. You dream about your parents, but they're more grown up. I already read through this, I think. Those made-up stories. Your favorite is... stories from your dreams. You've always been weird that way. You beg him to tell you stories about aliens called the Gardeners, and insist they are real people you've met, or will meet, something. They're from your dreams, but it seems so real. It's more like remembering. It's hard to explain. Your family doesn't understand. Your dad is happy to play make-believe. Together you make up new adventures with the Gardeners every night. Look, I love that extra fingers perk. Kind sweet Tammy. When you're 8, Tammy wants to bake a special cake for Auntie Student, who runs the creche. It has to be a real earth carrot cake with real carrots because that's Auntie's favorite. Tammy needs help getting carrots from the garden, where your parents were. You ask your dad for the carrots. Your dad's always easy to persuade. He asks why you need the carrots and grins when you tell him it's a secret. He slips you some carrots and reminds you not to tell your mom. The cake comes out okay, but Auntie Student is grateful anyway. You're 10 years old when the ship finally reaches the wormhole. Professor Hal says it's like a doorway to other star systems with the planet Vertumina 4 on the other side. You run emergency drills for months to prepare. When the day finally comes, it starts with a rumble. Then things start to slide off the tables. You hurry to gather into the escape pods just in case. Single file, everyone! Professor Hal instructs you to follow him. You try to slip away. Professor Hal grabs you by the scruff of your neck. Nope! Sorry, Goobs, this is no time to play around. You'll have to come with the rest of the class. The emergency area is crowded with families. Going to be fine, Goobs. Your dad suits. We'll be through the wormhole and down on the planet before you know it, just like we've practiced. Your mom gives him a sharp, worried look. Red emergency lights switch on as a siren begins to sound somewhere distant in the ship. You try to breathe slowly like you were taught, but you're very scared. You look at a porthole. The stars are gone, and you're frightened, you. Get in touch with your emotion. You bawl like a baby. Feels good. You aren't the only one. Nearby, your classmate Tammy has tears streaming down her cheeks. Mars is trying quietly to console her. She sighs as your crying makes Tammy wail even more loudly. Your dad puts his arms around you as you let it out. You wait. The shaking builds. Then everything starts to get very weird. The hallway stretches, and you're stretching too. Your arms impossibly loud. Your loud-ass arms. Your head feels like it's slowly filling up like a balloon and contracting down to the size of an atom at the same time. Is this the wormhole? You hear the distant, ominous squeal of metal giving way as the ship shudders and lurches in slow motion. The weirdest part is the sense of deja vu. You're sure this has happened to you before, and you know somehow that everything is going to be okay. The shuddering reaches a crescendo. You hear an impossibly loud crunch and feel weightless for a few seconds before gravity slams you back against the wall head first. You black out.
As you slip unconscious, you feel yourself twisted out of time. Today, yesterday, and tomorrow all at once. And more than just one tomorrow. Lots of them. Different tomorrow. You find yourself in a battlefield you know from your dreams. All around you is chaos. You try to move, but you've sunk into the knee into some foul organic muck. You have the sense of something large bearing down on you, its hot breath scorching your back. You can't run. You can't stop this. Distantly, you can feel the ship's shaking has stopped and hear your parents' worried voices. Feeling safe, you slip further into the warm embrace of the stars. You drift. Gradually, your consciousness reforms. You wake up in the medbay. The medbay under you plays a soft tone, and an automatic voice speaks. 2 weeks have elapsed. The patient's cranial injury has completed healing. They may now be safely discharged. As the fog lifts from your head, you realize something seems different about this room. Right? You try to focus on the window. It is definitely different. Sunlight? Instead of the familiar blackness of space, bright light from twin blue and yellow suns is streaming through the windows. You peer out and see fields, glass-walled domes, and walls ringed by giant mushroom-like trees. There are construction materials everywhere, and people walking around outside on the ground. You better get out there and join them. Oh, look at us, we're a baby again. Oh! Cammy jumps as you step out of the ship's quarters behind her. You're awake? Are you all right? Are you all better? Better go see your dad. She points southeast towards some geodesic domes. Cammy looks concerned. You slept for so long after you bumped your head, she says. I bet your parents were worried. Your dad is working over in geoponics near those domes. They're called greenhouses. I would go with you, but well, this is as far as I've been from the ship since we landed. Cammy stammers, blushing. Airy outside. Where are the other kids? Boobs! Your dad gives you a big, warm hug. I'm so happy you're finally awake. Dr. Winston thought it'd be best to keep you asleep while your noggin healed. Your mother and I thought you might sleep away the whole year, my snoozy little gooseberry. He checks her head and looks relieved. He was clearly very worried about you, but covers it with jokes and smiles. Aw, you love your dad. Welcome to Ratumna, he says, gesturing around you. You've never seen the stratosphere from the outside except in pictures. Whoa, that's not him talking. The ship has been separated in two and parts taken off to form other buildings and a big wall around the whole colony. How'd you do this so fast? You've been asleep for weeks, my dear aubergine, he says, and these geodesic greenhouses practically put themselves up. But some of this is only a quick temporary solution, he admits. We'll keep growing and improving things. One day our little colony will be as big as a whole city. Oh, before I forget. He pulls a package out from his satchel and hands it to you. You blink and stare at it blankly. Don't you know what day it is? It's your birthday! Tell him you know what's inside. Don't open the package. You tell him you'll open it later, when Mom can be there too. Because you're scared to look inside. Professor Howell is expecting you in class if you're feeling up to it, your dad says, pointing west to the engineering wing and the rear end of the bisected ship. Then he points to the large doors he came out of earlier. Or you can relax in our quarters until you're feeling better. We'll talk later tonight, he says, then kisses the top of your head and ruffles your hair. Have a wonderful birthday, Goops. I love you. Love you too, Daddy. Daddy-o. Yes! Oh, he's a baby again. You see Dis sitting on the ground beside some bushes. Is he hiding from somebody? He seems to be watching the gate in the wall to the south, where grown-ups are coming and going. Kids aren't allowed past the walls, he says quietly without looking up. They say there's nothing to be afraid of, but then why do we need walls? You stare at the gates. I was sudden rush of memory so strong that you think you might faint. Imagine something crashing through the wall. Something enormous, dark, wriggly. For years in space, you've had half-remembered nightmares of monsters, of your ship being destroyed, of sifting through wreckage that used to be your home, trying to find something. Your dad always told you the dreams weren't real. Breaking you from your daydream, Dis whispers, I think there are monsters out there. I believe you. No, you don't, he says. You're being sarcastic, I can tell. Nobody believes me. He turns his back and ignores you. They're huge and wriggly and dangerous. You're making fun of me. You're bad as Mars. Aww. Hiya, Goobs! Anemone seems really at home here. She's rolling a sports ball around with her foot, making patterns in the weird blue snow. This stuff is different from snow on Earth, she tells you, cause it ain't cold, but it's still neat, and you can make stuff out of it. Your foggy head clears a little. Anemone is simple, physical, real. You always feel grounded near her. Have you seen any monsters? No, just some little bugs. The grown-ups would say they were monsters, right? She shrugs and smiles reassuringly. Even if there were monsters, Chief Rat would beat them all up. So don't worry. My mom says we're safer here than we were in space. You both look out over at the wreckage of the Stratospheric, the spaceship where you were born. Anemone's mom, Auntie Seaton, is probably right about that. Look what the wormhole did to your ship. What are you making? Just snow spirals, she says. But earlier me and Cal made a big snow pal. You missed it while you were sleeping in Mad Bay. She smiles her broad, gap-toothed smile at you. Now that you're awake, we can play. Why aren't you in school? She smacks your forehead. School? I wondered where everybody was. I guess I'm gonna be late for humanities class. She doesn't look very worried to you. It's okay, she says. Professor Hal is chill. He won't mind, but you should probably go now. He grins and starts running towards engineering. Hey, brace you! No fair, she's getting a head start. So that's Tammy. This. Leave. Okay, I guess I gotta go to school. Let's study life sciences. Good afternoon, my burgeoning biologists and up-and-coming chemists. Professor Howell welcomes you back to your old classroom. This afternoon we'll learn what I like to call the wet sciences. He gestures to his hollow-projected lesson plan. Biology, chemistry, medicine, ecology, and geology. You'll learn a little bit of everything with opportunities for further study in your favorite fields. If you're looking for something a little drier, try registering for engineering classes. For today's lesson, I feel like I've already read through this. Mush trees, she reads, are most abundant south of the colony in the stormy, moist regions of the subaqueous swamp. Let's see. Sing to it. And we won! Parents have been working hard. This has all happened before. You tell them how you knew about the medallion your dad made before you saw it because you dreamed about it when you were a kid. The more you speak, the harder it is to stop. You tell them about all the things you thought were dreams and how they started to come true ever since you landed on Vertumna. You keep remembering stuff that's about to happen, and it's also weird and confusing. Honey, your mom interrupts you. I know you've been under a lot of stress. We all have. She sighs and gives your dad a concerned look. He shrugs helplessly. I'm sorry we haven't been there for you, she continues. But is it possible you think you might be making this up to get attention? I swear to you, this is real. You try to stay calm and explain, but you keep talking faster and faster. Before long, your breath is coming in hiccups and you start to cry uncontrollably. Your parents don't know what to say. All they can do is hold you tight and stroke your head. Of course they don't believe you, and you can't think of a way to prove it to them. When you've calmed down a bit, you hear them talking quietly to each other over your head. They did have a bad concussion, Maybe there was permanent damage. What if our baby... They look so anxious and pained now. I feel even worse than before. They insist you go back to Dr. Instance for a checkup and take you there immediately. You end up spending another month in medbay. Dr. Instance insists on giving you sleeping medicine that makes you drowsy, but at least you aren't just asleep the entire time like before. She takes a lot of health readings. You take notes too and learn a bit about medicine because there's nothing else to do. It's boring and stressful at the same time. Your parents come to visit you in the evening, but nobody wants to talk about the dreams or memories or whatever they are, or were. You've been sleeping deeply with this medicine, so at least you haven't had that remembering feeling in a while. When you try to bring the subject up, Dr. Instance always says you should get some rest and tells the medbed to give you more sleeping drugs. The days pass. Month passed. You feel trapped and helpless. Days blur into one another in a haze of sleep. In your lucid moments, you look longingly through the windows of the colony, bustling with the first excitement of life on a new planet. You realize that no one will believe you if you keep talking about living past lives. Or worse, you'll end up here again, wasting all your time sleeping. If you really are living this life over and over again, time is something you can't waste. You need to figure out what's happening. After a month of enforced rest, Dr. Instance says she can see nothing wrong with you and that you must simply be feeling the effects of stress. You just need to take it easy, my little tomato, your dad tells you. Landing over Tumina has been a big change for all of us. It's natural to feel anxious and act out. Your mom looks disappointed, but tells you she loves you. Can I just go home now? Instance looks up from her holopalm when everyone turns to look at her. I don't see why not, she says, then goes back to her work. You know, says your dad, raising an eyebrow at your mom, I think there are lots of different ways to learn, and school is just one of them. You can learn from working on a hobby or by helping a friend. Your mom shakes her head and sighs, like you can tell she's trying to put on a gentle expression. We both agree that this colony is an experiment, and that means we're going to do things differently than on Earth. You're old enough now to start making your own decisions about your education and future, and if that means you find your own way, we'll accept that. Your dad puts a hand on your shoulder. We'll be proud of you no matter what you do. Try talking to your friends. They may have ideas for how you can spend your time. And come by geoponics, your mom adds. We could use your help. This week, you had a few more bouts of deja vu, remembering what somebody is about to say or do just before they do it. Sometimes they actually do it, but not always. This morning, you were sure Professor Hal was going to trip on the uneven floor in the cafeteria and spill his plate of hash browns. You even told Mars to watch. He didn't, though. As Professor Hal walked away, his hash browns safe for today, Mars called you a liar and a dummy. At night, your dreams are all mixed up with stuff that you know can't be real. You're chased by monsters the size of buildings, only to be saved by strange people you've never met. You're holding hands with someone you love. You're crying as you help lift a shrouded body into the colony recycler. Everything seems so familiar, but when you try to recall their faces when you wake up, they're smeared in your memory like wet paint. You've lived this life before. In your dreams, you're sure of it. In the light of day, you try to remember everything from your dreams, but it's impossible. You can't live a lifetime in your dreams. Anytime you try to tell someone, they think you're playing a trick, or that you're sick and need to go to medbay. You eventually decide to stay quiet about your strange dreams. Why? You don't want people to worry. Your parents have so much in their minds already. You have a feeling that something is happening in geoponics that they don't want you to know. You don't understand it, but when they come home at night, they look really sad. You don't want to make that worse. If you just keep going to classes and staying out of trouble, it'll be easier for everyone, yourself included. Tangent is hunched over her hollow palm, frowning and poking angrily at the air. She speaks without looking up at you. Professor Hal wants us to prep a list of native flora with pictures. There should be a catalog on the colony holonet, but I can't find it anywhere. I'll help you find that catalog. You launch your own holopalm and start searching the colony's holonet archives for a list of autumnal plants and animals. 10 minutes later, you find it buried under survey logistics in the expeditions net. Anemone passes by and pulls a face at the two of you. Hey, holo nerds, she shouts. School's over. Come play sports ball in the sunshine. Hank just rolls her eyes. Anemone is bumping a sports ball with her wrist, trying to keep it in the air. Heads up, she shouts and bumps the ball in your direction. Think fast. Bounce it back. You bounce the ball back and forth with her, trying to see how many times you can rally and keep it going. Anemone tells you about the new sports ball court, a proper regulation-sized court, way bigger than the little 0G one on the stratospheric. Her brother Colm is coaching the junior sports ball team this year. He's so great, she says. He's got everything, especially spiking. He's coached me to play awesome like him. You should come join us. Hey, Dis. Oh, you found me. Dis is adjusting better than you'd expect it to life on the surface. He's already found new places to hide and do whatever he does out here by himself. You find your mom hard at work setting up the greenhouses with a small construction crew. You've seen these plants pinned to the wall of your family's quarters for years now. These geodesic domes will house the more delicate plants from Earth. Spinach, tomatoes, maybe even fruits. She takes a swig from her canteen as you approach. Looking for something to do, she asks. Remember, Goobs, you're responsible for your own schedule now that we've landed. You can decide how to spend your time, so long as it's productive. She points towards the engineering wing in the back half of the stratospheric severed frame. Professor House is expecting you in class, but a well-rounded education includes practical application. You're old enough to help with the work around here. She claps her hand on your shoulder. I've got another minute. Anything you need to know? No, I'm good. Oh, whoops. Dad. Hello, my little potato, your dad exclaims, smiling warmly. What have you been up to today? Playing in the fresh air. He breathes deeply and looks slowly around. Rotumna's magnificent, isn't it? You nod. Seasons! He shouts, throwing his hands wide. I miss seasons! Back on Earth it got much, much colder, and the snow wasn't half as pretty as our spark snow. He sighs, stretching. You just wait until dust season. Both the suns will be high in the sky and it'll be real hot then. You'll see. Hal is riding around the geoponics gardens on his hoverboard. The board comes to a sudden shuddering stop on the rocky ground in front of you. Hal falls off, but catches his balance before he eats dirt. Hi, Goose. Real ground is way harder to hover on than ship floors. There are bumps everywhere. We all have to adapt. Yeah, Cal exclaims. Things are actually way, way better planet-side. Hovering outside is rad. Look at this. He runs over to a small depression in a nearby hill and presents it like it's something amazing. Look at it. It's a skate ball. A what now? Like it's all round and the sides go up? Cal gestures to the bowl. So you can do hover tricks? He jumps on his board and shows you how it's done. Can I try? Sure, but please be careful. Mom says if I break my hoverboard, we can't make another one. You take turns riding around the bowl, trying to get up enough speed going down one side to come back up the other. You don't land any tricks. It's hard just staying on the board with this uneven ground, but it's still fun. Mars! A sharp whistle interrupts your thoughts. Hey, Goobs! Mars called out to you. Come here, I have a job for you. You walk over to Mars, who's sheltering from the snow under the ship's overhang. It's so gross here, she complains. This spark snow would ruin my good clothes. At least on the ship we had climate control. Tammy made me some soy sweets, but there's no way I'm going out there at all this weather, she continues. Since you like running around in it, could you fetch them for me? Get them yourself. Mars huffs and rolls her eyes. I don't even know why I asked. If you ever want to actually be useful, go talk to Administrator Seek, she says, gesturing to the door to command behind her. They're looking for people to work delivery, and I'm just like, no? I'm way too busy. Too busy fetching my own soy sweets. Tammy! You see Tammy sitting quietly near the entrance to the lounge. You've known her for, well, your whole entire life. Back on the ship, you were her study partner. Tammy was... Oh, I already read this. Of course! Oh, thank you! The, decreases our reasoning. You step cautiously through the colony gates. Hey there, kiddo! Uncle Tony blocks her way with a smile. I'm afraid Expeditions is off limits for now. It's not safe out there for kids. You better toughen up so you can join the squads when you're older. Relax. Sit alone with your hollow palm. Approach Mars and Dis. Join Cal and Tammy. Cal is braiding Tammy's long hair and weaving in strands of little colored baubles. This one's called a waterfall braid, I think, he says. I saw it in an archive vid, but it's really tricky. He's doing a terrible job of it, his short, clumsy fingers getting all tangled in the strands. I could do better. Let me try. Sure, says Cal, completely unbothered by your boast. It would help if I could watch someone else do it. You deftly weave Tammy's pink cotton candy hair into a cascade of waves around the crown of her head. Cal passes you strands of baubles to add in. So pretty, Tammy says when you take a photo to show her. I only know how to do one style. You're so good at braiding, Goops. Let's get rid of the 0. Okay, we got 3 minutes left. Registering for engineering classes. Study engineering. You wake from an afternoon nap. The dream you're in is one you've had many times. The air is strangely pink, fluffy, kind of sticky, and you have to push your way through it. It feels like every step takes an eternity. You push through the pink cloud and merge into the children's creche, a room you know well, to see your friend Tammy standing before an enormous bear made of pure light. It lunges at her, through her, and she collapses to the ground like a fainting fairy tale princess. You wake with your heart racing. Tammy is leaning over you where you've been sleeping on a nest of pillows. She shakes your shoulder gently. Oh, I'm sorry, Goops, she says as if speaking to a small child. I think you were having a nightmare? Are you okay? Are you? Nothing bad happened in the dream, but you feel sick with dread. Since you're awake, you should visit the cafeteria. Auntie Sheehan is making a new kind of candy. She says it's made of cotton. Isn't that weird? I have to go tidy the creche first, then I'll meet you there. Save some for me, okay? Oh shit. This is where she dies. Man, this happens so fast. Wait, go save Tammy. You sprint down the hall to the children's creche, where the little kids play and learn during the day. It's empty. All the younger kids are probably off eating candy with audience scenes. You spot Tammy tidying up some drawing supplies near the craft bin. Above her, a hollow projector displays an enormous floating teddy bear made of purple light. It bobs silently in the air. Mr. Bearsworth. A decade of happy memories playing with it flash through your minds in an instant. Tammy stands up on her toes and reaches for the switch to turn it off. You slam into her, knocking her off her feet into the ground. At the same moment, the hollow projector sparks and explodes. The bear disappears and the whole room goes dark. In the dim emergency lighting, you see Tammy's eyes wide with surprise and fear. She sits up and rubs her elbow, staring at you. Sorry, are you hurt? It's okay. She sniffles, looking like she might start crying. Why did you do that? Owie! I just saved your life. My life? She says. She peers into the dark room, looking even more frightened. How? You tried to explain that the hollow projector was going to shock her, but she doesn't seem to understand. What? How? But it's Mr. Bearsworth, she says. It's just a toy. She doesn't believe you, but that's okay. You're just happy that you followed your dream and got here in time. You decide not to mention the dream, since she seems weirded out already. After a minute, the lights come back on. The projector is dead, a thin trickle of stinky smoke coming from the base. Don't worry, Tammy says, brightening as she gets to her feet. Professor Hal can fix it. He can fix anything. By the time you find the professor and finish cleaning up, you've forgotten all about the pink candy in the cafeteria. And that's it. Wow, I got 2 endings. Anyone here? No. Okay, bye-bye Twitch, bye-bye YouTube, and bye-bye TikTok. I'll be back tomorrow playing Chaos Child, and then I was a Teenage Exocolonist again. Bye-bye.